Hi, today we're going to talk about section 10.2, multiplying and dividing monomials. So looking at this first line right here, we have 2xy plus 3. And we are trying to, the first thing we need to make sure that we understand is that we know what a monomial is. Monomial. If you see that mono, think 1, the number 1. So we have 2xy plus 3 versus 3xy. Which of those is the monomial? The monomial only has one term. It only has one product with nothing being added or subtracted to it. Well, clearly that's 3xy because we see the plus sign here. So this has two terms. It's a binomial. Bi means 2. All right, here, -5 times 3 times x squared times y cubed versus 15x squared times y cubed minus 6. Which is the monomial? The monomial is the one on the left. There is no addition or subtraction sign in between any of the terms. The negative that you see right there is just the sign for 5. The fact that it's within parentheses means you're multiplying it. However, in the binomial to the right, it's a binomial because of the minus sign. All right, so now that we know what a monomial is, I want to remind you what the word polynomial is. Polynomial. A polynomial is anything with more than one term. So this one right here is a polynomial. This is a polynomial. If I had 2x plus 3y, that would be a polynomial. It's a binomial. It's got 2 terms. If I had 2x plus 3y plus 4d plus 5a that's a polynomial. Now, if I had 2x, 3y, 4d, 5a, and there is no addition or subtraction, this right here would be a monomial. All right, so you're simply looking for something where all the numbers are being multiplied or divided. So multiplying monomials, it's coming out with an extra syllable in there for me. Consider, let me go back, let's go with green. Sounds like a happy color. -5 times x to the 4th times y times 3x squared y cubed. We have 2 monomials here. Monomial 1 and monomial 2. I know they're monomials because I see no addition or subtraction. Now, to make the process of multiplying monomials simpler, if this is a hard concept for you to understand, you can remember sign, number, letters. All right, so sign. On the first monomial, we have a negative sign. And on the second monomial, there's a positive sign. So a negative times positive gets you negative. So our answer is going to start with a negative number, or negative sign, sorry. Now the next thing we want to look at is number. We have a 5 and a 3. So it'll go 5 times 3. Now we want to look at letters. We have x to the 4th, x squared, y, and y cubed. Now we can go ahead and, now that we've sorted it like this, we can go ahead and multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. X to the 4th times x squared would simply be x to the 4 plus 2. And then times y to the, this would have a 1, implied 1, so 1 plus 3. That equals negative 15 x to the 6th, y to the 4th. Sorry, I keep getting a weird sound. I'm trying to figure out what's... It's distracting me. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. I thought it was coming from my phone, but it's not. Okay, so that is multiplying monomials. And just as a quick reminder about multiplying positive and negative values, if you multiply a positive times a positive, it gets a positive. If you multiply negative times negative, you get a positive. If you multiply negative times positive, you get a negative. And I'll do the opposite in case you don't know. If you do positive times negative, you'll get a negative number. So make sure you remember all of that. So example 10.2a, we have 3y cubed times 4y to the 6th. Each one is a monomial. We are multiplying monomials. So that means we can just multiply our numbers, 3 times 4, and get 12. And then we can do y cubed times y to the 6th equals y to the 3 plus 6 power. So that would be y to the 9th. And that's the answer for 10A. 10.2b, we have negative 6b squared c cubed d squared times 10 times c to the 4th times d. Notice the difference in 10a and 10b. In 10a, they used parentheses to show multiplication, and in b, they used a dot to show multiplication. And then remember, when you see a number right beside a letter, or a letter right beside a letter, that also means multiplication. And then finally, don't forget that with multiplication, you can switch the order around and you will get the same answer. For example, if I do negative 6 times 2, I'll get negative 12. But if I do 2 times negative 6, I'll also get negative 12. That is the commutative property of multiplication. All right, so we are going to multiply the negative 6 times the 10. A negative times a positive is a negative, so negative 60. And then we look to our b variable, and we see it's a b squared, and there's no b in the second monomial, so we'll simply say b squared. Then there's c cubed in the first monomial and c to the fourth in the second. So we need to add the 3 and the 4 together, and we get c to the 7th. And then we have d squared in the first monomial and d to the first power in the second. So we are going to add those two exponents and get d cubed. Sorry, my computer's acting squirrely again. All right, 10.2c is 4x times negative 8x, negative 8x to the 5th, times 2x cubed. Notice that we don't have any terms separated by addition or subtraction. We do see this minus sign right here, but because the monomial is enclosed in parentheses, we know that it is a monomial. Like, it's not saying 4x minus 8x to the 5th. It's saying 4x times negative 8x to the 5th. So we have monomial times monomial times monomial. So 4 times negative 8 times 2 is going to be negative 64. And then x to the first power times x to the 5th power times x cubed will be x to the first plus 5th plus 3rd power, which equals negative 64 x to the 9th. All right, we have one more thing to cover, and that is dividing monomials. In this example, it's on page 480, we have 10a cubed b to the 4th divided by negative 5ab to the 5th. Each of these is a monomial that is, and the two monomials are then being divided. So we're going to rewrite it to be negative 10a cubed b to the 4th divided by negative 5ab to the 5th. But we have a negative being divided by a negative, so we know we're going to end up getting a positive number. We also can reduce the 10 and the 5 because both numbers are divisible by 5. So we'll cross out the negative 10 and simply put a 2 because 5 goes into 10 twice. And we're not even going to worry about that negative sign anymore because the two negative signs cancel each other out. Now, I'm going to rewrite this in case it would possibly be confusing to somebody. This 2a cubed b to the 4th is 2 times a times a times a. I think I said a 3 times there. And then we need to do it times b 4 times. So times b times b times b times b. Divided by a times, now we need b 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and each of those are being multiplied. You don't need to put the dots in between. I'm just doing it for to space them out a little bit. All right, so hopefully you can see that it doesn't matter what value A has, A is going to cancel out A. And then there would be 4 B's that would cancel out 4 B's on the bottom. So we end up with 2A squared divided by B. All right, so in example 10.2b, letter A, we have 15J squared divided by 5J. This equals 15J squared divided by 5J. Positive divided by a positive is going to be positive. And you don't have to do all of these steps if you see it, but I am doing it here just to be really clear. All right, up here we have 15 times j divided by 5 times j. The 5 the 5 and the 15 are both divisible by 5. So I'm going to divide 5 into the bottom and 5 into the top. And I get 3. And then one j will cancel out the other j. And I end up with 3j. All we're doing right now is simplifying. And then b, 6r squared times s to the 4th divided by negative 36 r squared times s to the 6th, r squared times s to the 6th. We're going to rewrite that as 6r squared s to the 4th divided by negative 36 r squared s to the 6th. Now 6 and 36 are both divisible by 6. So 6 goes into 6 once, and 6 goes into 36 6 times. But I want to make sure I keep that negative sign because I have a positive divided by a negative, and that will be a negative number. So I want to make sure that I don't lose that sign. Don't lose your sign. There's a big difference between 6 and negative 6. So I've got negative 6 down there now. And then if I had r squared up here, that would be r times r. And then in my denominator, I also have r squared, which is r times r. So the two r's cancel each other out. And then I have s to the 4th divided by s to the 6th. 4 of those s's would be canceled out, would cancel out 4 of the s's in the denominator. So I'm going to end up with s squared down here. I can just go 6 minus 4. So that leaves me with 1 over 6s squared. And don't forget your sign. All right, that's it. Good luck with your homework.